from Trees of Life, Jess the Sky Kid, Kif Points, and the internet wanted to say fuck you, so we said fuck you to the internet, and so this is going on YouTube exclusive. Just like your album, ha! Which is why you're calling today, because what, that drops tomorrow, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. April 7th, anywhere you can buy digital music, all your majors, your iTunes, your Google Play Store, Amazon, and if you don't have the money, then you can check it out on Spotify for free. So it'll be on Spotify as well.
So Spotify, Google Play, you said, iTunes.
Mm-hmm. Amazon, those are definitely the majors, but there's probably 50 others that I just, we don't need to go there.
Are you guys on Pandora?
We're working on that right now. That's kind of a tough process.
I've heard that. We had
Yeah.
David Rangel from the System Lights said that they're on there, but he said that it was quite a process to do it. So let's talk about, you're releasing your album tomorrow, and what is the process to get an album on, say, the platforms that you've done and, the extensiveness of getting on Pandora?
Sure. With Pandora, I honestly really haven't cracked it yet. So basically, what their deal is that they want some sort of local notoriety of your band. So you need to have a couple different publications. Whether it's magazines, radio shows, things of this nature. It's kind of like starting your own Wikipedia page.
Wow.
You need to have at least a half dozen printed, interviews, magazine things, people writing about you, and they really don't like to consider like a blogger, like a legit, publishing to try to get on Pandora or to get on like a Wikipedia page. Mm-hmm. So we've been working very, very hard at getting published, right, and getting people to talk about it. So far, we were very fortunate to be offered a deal with Relics Magazine.
Nice.
A couple months ago. Now, Relics Magazine, if you don't know, started back in the 70s. They basically started when the Grateful Dead was just getting started, about a year or two in. And you had some people that were just absolutely in love with the Grateful Dead, decided to start a magazine to document, their journey. And it's been alive ever since. But we're super satisfied. The biggest publication that we're on, it was distributed to, every Barnes and Nobles across the country. Wow. They have 300,000 paper subscribers that actually buy the magazine. It comes out about every 2 months. Then they have another, 150, 200,000 people that are subscribed on the email list. And then with the Relics magazine, and they take all genres of music. I mean, honestly, I was really surprised that they obliged us because they really don't do reggae too often, maybe, once or twice a year. But then again, I really wouldn't necessarily consider ourselves completely reggae either. But there's a lot of punk bands, a lot of ska bands, a lot of screamo. There's all kinds of stuff that Relics magazine will publish, and they actually put you on a compilation CD. That's actually in the middle of the magazine, so everyone who gets a physical copy of the magazine gets a compilation CD with about 12 or 14 artists, and kind of a souvenir you get for having a subscription. And then we've had other local people like Altwire magazine. Our most recent publication was oh my gosh, they're gonna kill me. It's basically a surfer magazine that's out here, basically runs from like Jacksonville down to the West Palm area. Oh man, I can't remember all up. So, that process is what it is, right? We're still trying to figure it out. As far as everything else, I can do a quick explanation. We decided to get our own publishing company. Oh. When you make money in music, 50% of all royalties that you make, half of that goes to the publishing company. So if you sign up for like a Reverb Nation or a CD Baby and you don't have your paperwork together, they will assume to be your publisher and take half of all your earnings, which is why they're such large organizations, right? So we did that. We got our own, what they call ISRC codes, which are basically a serial number for your actual songs when you register them. And that was $80 one time in life. And you got people out there that'll try to sell you, your ISRC codes for $10 a piece or $100 for an album or something like that. And again, if you don't have those, Reverb Nation or CD Baby will apply their own ISRC code. Therefore, whoever supplies that ISRC code is the publisher. That's how that works.
So really what you're saying, musicians out there, if you want to actually maintain your rights and receive all of your money, it's a benefit to just do it your fucking self, yes?
100%.
Great.
I always appreciated bands that have made it and did it on their own. Like the first ones I learned about was Sublime. Slightly Stupid that's out there right now. They've owned their own music from day one. They actually learned how to do this from Sublime. My favorite band in the world, Dispatch, also did the same thing. They own their stuff 100%. When I was a kid, you had like Cottonmouth Kings. They always intrigued me. Wasn't too big of a fan of their music, but their marketing and the way that they conducted business and how they owned everything as well, that really intrigued me. And so I just really, studied how this all works, and it's hard to find. It really is. I mean, not so many people want to give you the answers because then you give away the secrets of how these other big conglomerates are making up all the money, right?
Right.
And it's really not expensive. It really isn't. Like, I'm talking, you could have 100% ownership of your music for probably $500 less. It just depends on what state you're in.
Does that make you an LLC?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Very
and,
good.
of course, you have to file your paperwork and stuff at the end of the year, but it's simple. Most states, if you make less than $5,000 a year, do not even require you to file for anything. Mm-hmm. So you just have to pay your $100 registration fee a year to stay in business.
Very neat.
It's pretty simple. I mean, and then from there you do your distribution, right? You gotta find a company that you can trust to put your music on iTunes and Google Play and all this kind of stuff and Spotify. And it was really hard to try to crack Spotify too for a while because there were a couple people that claim that they could do it on their own, but they actually make you go through a music aggregator to get on Spotify. And so we go through a company called RecordUnion.com. They're owned by Sony. The reason why I picked them was, one, they allow you to claim publishing rights in your own music.
Nice.
They allow you to submit your ISRC codes and all that good stuff. They also have a proprietary application to give you actual demographic information of the people on Spotify listening to your music.
Ooh.
Which no other aggregator offers. It's an exclusive deal that Record Union has with Spotify. So instead of just getting basic info like how many plays am I getting, and you might get gender and maybe a vague geographic, kind of idea. If you go through a different aggregator with these guys, they'll give you the age of the people, what of their music they like. They'll show you exactly on a map where all your listeners are. They have pretty extensive information there. And that's what really helpful for us too, to try to identify who our audience actually is. And until we did the Spotify, as far as like online, you wouldn't believe it, but as far as the Trees of Life are concerned, so far at least, the majority of our listeners are over the age of 45.
Huh. Wow.
And I would have never would have known that.
So,
and if I had access to information like that, right? And then we'll use that for, marketing on Facebook and things like that. You do all kinds of fun things there too. But that's Record Union to get your, to get your music aggregated and out onto on all the different, fun places to buy music. And then, but I would say that, to set proper expectations going into a venture like this, I don't really make much money on music at all. I mean, it's you got to learn how to be a t-shirt salesman.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a plus if you can play, at least 3 hours, so you can cover like a 4-hour block at night at a bar. We definitely made that decision to try and raise money for the project. I mean, it's just music's so hard to sell. It's more of just kind of like a freebie that you give away, or if you get a donation from it, great. But that's just kind of the teaser to get people's attention. You know what I mean? And the whole idea that I've had with this project is trying to identify what we call like super fans, right?
Right.
A super fan. And I've seen several different polls and several different people researching this. We'll spend, as long as you have enough different types of products to sell, whether they're different designs of T-shirts or different releases. But super fan will spend $100 a year on you. I mean, think about your favorite bands and how much money you spent on them. Whether it's a ticket to a concert, And you talk about just concert tickets, well, $100 goes out the window real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll spend about $100 a year. So it's, our goal is definitely to make it and make a living at this. We all have day jobs right now. I mean, we're nothing special. I mean, we've done little weekend warrior tours and things like that. But in a day like today, I really don't think it's necessary to throw yourself out there too early. And try to do a 2-month stint when you can only ask for $200 a night, so keeping all those things in mind and being able to play for 4 hours, you can charge almost what a cover band would make all night, and we're able to find shows for $500 to $800 a night because we'll play for 4 or 5 hours worth of a block. Of course, you take breaks and stuff, right? But providing that evening entertainment, I know that. Down here it's much easier than in the Midwest, as I'm in an area where there's a lot of tourism, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, people visiting from all over the place. So, being back home, like in Toledo, it was really tough. We really weren't in a position to play all night, but I used what I learned in those past experiences to try to apply to this new project, And that's what we're trying to do, just try to learn every day and keep pushing this music. And that was the point I was going to make. So the super fans, you want to make X amount of dollars a year, whatever that is. They really put it in perspective to me, to where if I had 10,000 super fans, right, which 10,000 people it's not like you have to have millions of fans, right?
Right.
You put 10,000 people out there and you add 2 zeros to that, I mean, you're grossing $1 million.
Wow.
That might sound like a lot, so then cut it down, right? Cut it down to 1,000. So let's say you can acquire a super fan base of 1,000 people. I mean, that sounds attainable, right? I mean, it's not like you're definitely reaching for a higher level of a musical experience and a fan base, but we're not asking you to make 500,000 fans here, just 1,000 of them.
Mm-hmm. They
spend $1 and that's $100,000 a year that could go into your project and go into expenses for traveling and things like this. So, we're just slowly, making friends and making friends with booking agencies and other guys who run record labels and things, and just trying to find as many venues as possible that'll pay us a decent amount so we can, save up some money, turn it back into marketing, and try to acquire that fan base of 1,000 people, right?
Right.
And that's pretty much what we're working on.
On your page currently, you have over 2,000 people who like and follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So how is the scene where you are, and how often are you playing outside of your local area?
Well, we're really excited where we're at on the Facebook likes, because everything we've done has been organic. We've not, there's plenty of places out there that you can spend $200-300 and get 10,000 likes on your page. I mean, although it does provide a strong illusion that something's going on, and I do appreciate that. There are benefits of having that, but just we really focused on trying to build, the super fan base, right, and not necessarily trying to fool anybody on that. Now, once we cracked 1,000 likes on Facebook, it almost seemed like the next level of venues just opened up to us. And it's really kind of funny and kind of sad, right? Like, a promoter, a bar owner, they don't think about, how tough it is or what's actually going on. They just want to see a band who is moving on the rise, looks like something's going on, has a fan base so they can book them and pay them top dollar in hopes that they'll drive a bunch of people to book them. You know what I mean? And same thing with trying to book with like a national coming into town, right? That's all they look at. All they look at are like superficial points. It's definitely something you can do, and I'm not putting anybody down for doing that because, like I said, there are benefits to that. But having an organic fan base, let's say over 2,000, even though we did it organically, I mean, I would say that I have an active fan base of probably 200 to 300 out of those actual likes. It's like a Facebook like really doesn't mean that. I mean, honestly, it didn't mean that they're a fan. They could just appreciate a flyer that you put up or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to like them. I'm going to go. But I would say that we're sitting at about, between 200 to 300, like a super fan base. Anytime we release something right now, it's to a point so where we're getting phone calls to make purchases, which is a really, really cool feeling. We've been doing it. It'll be 3 years, actually, April 11th.
Cool.
This project. And I really just came into it like, no expectations, no disappointments. I'm just going to put the effort forward and just kind of see what happens. It's my personal last hurrah as an artist, absolutely. But, I've got another 16 to 18 originals already that have not been recorded yet. So, I plan on doing, at least 2 more full-length albums, and then we'll kind of see where we stay.
How many people are in your band?
Well, that fluctuates. I mean, being kind of like a jam style band, we basically have 4. We have 4 core members. Myself, Skylar on drums, Tim on the guitar, and Dave on bass. You'll hear a gentleman doing some hip hop verses. His name is Bobby. He actually just left the project about 3 months ago. So he's going back to school, raising a family, things like this, and we still love him to death. Coming into a band like this, I really wanted to make it clear that I wanted everybody to have a good time. I don't want anybody to have to do something they don't want to do, and I appreciate open communication. Like if somebody's heart's not in it anymore, I'm not going to hate you for it. We just want to know so it's not awkward, right? And so finding other people, to fill in has been no problem at all. And we also used to have the keyboardist. We went through 2 keyboardists, a percussionist now who's also backup singer, did some hip hop stuff, and he was with us all through 2017, and then left us. I think it was like January this year to go back to school, have a baby, and all that kind of good stuff. So we've been through a couple people. We're actually currently looking for a keyboardist, and I'd really, really like to add a horn section. I think that if I could achieve that, I think some special things might happen.
Yeah, that would be a game changer, I think, the horn section, because, I mean, I listen to you guys and I hear a lot of, yes, Slightly Stupid and Sublime, and, good reggae jam bands, and
yeah.
I think like throwing a horn section in, it just, I don't know, that it would be I'd probably just be like this because that's kind of, I guess, my expression for most things that make me happy, huh?
Yes. Yes.
So
I'm glad that makes me happy.
I think that's the point of your music, right? like to make people happy. I love how positive and very I would say good vibes centric you are. So with that being said, are you guys planning on coming like anywhere around us?
Yeah, so I'm actually, Skylar and I were just talking earlier today, and I've got a friend, Dale, which I'll tell you a story about Dale. You like that song, The Riddler, you mentioned earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dale lives in Milwaukee. I think just outside of Milwaukee, so he's just north of you a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote The Riddler together through kind of like a freestyle cipher via text message.
Huh.
So he literally texted me. He said, riddle me this, riddle me that. What does it take to get our country back? And so I responded, riddle me this, riddle me that. Big brother is watching, you better watch your back.
Huh.
And we literally wrote that song, the entire song through a text message, and it was just a freestyle deal. And I'm telling you, I probably adjusted 3 or 4 lines in some of the verses, and that's it. And that's how that song came to be. And I was just freaking out over the words, and inspiration just hit. Hurry up, get home, grab the guitar, and then recorded it for him, sent it back. Like, check this out. And that was, I think that was 2009 or 2010.
I was gonna say that's
So
9 years.
I get a lot of feedback, right, that on that song, like, does that have something to do with Trump campaign? Like no, not at all. The song's actually nearly a decade old. I mean, it's new to everybody who's listening to it now. Which is why I'm so happy to get all of these songs off my chest, so I can start working on the newer stuff and getting that laid down. But so we're actually thinking like the second weekend in May next month. We might be in your area.
Well,
And so Dale's actually looking at a couple of venues to book us some shows. It'll just be like a duo, trio type of a thing because the other guys won't be with me. But it's still a really fun show to watch. Me and Skylar do a cover show called the Sellout Sets, and so we'll play about half covers, half originals. We call it the hidden TOL sessions because half the music's our originals anyway, and we just throw in more covers than we ever would normally if we were playing at the Trees of Life. So when I get more details on that, I'll let you know, and we'll stop by.
that would be super great because it would be fun to have you in the flesh and blood here doing something. And,
That would be fun.
now that we've kind of become more of a thing ourselves, speaking of super fans, this thing has not even been a year in, and we have quite a few people who follow and pay attention, and a lot of people have been like, oh, I can't come on a Thursday. So we're accommodating. If it's like an out-of-town group, a weekend is something that we can plan, and we do, weekend matinee shows and stuff. So, yes, please keep me posted so that we can work something out.
I will, because I really owe Dale a visit, which is really the point of me going up there.
Does he?
Usually about once a year at the Acoustics Festival in August. But we're really, really great friend of mine.
He does it. He does an acoustic fest in August.
Yeah, so the Acoustics Festival.
Oh, okay.
That started out in the Toledo area. It's actually in Woodsville, Ohio. We've got bands from Kenosha and Wisconsin that come out every year.
Who are these people? You need to yell at them, James, and tell them if you can do this from fucking Florida, they can do it from town.
This is why I told you after the show I've got a lot more value to add to you.
Good.
I've got bands in your backyard that, could drive traffic, and I'm sure would love to come on the show.
Yeah,
and,
it's super easy.
And right up your alley. I mean, most of them are ska bands, Jess.
That's funny because I don't know any ska bands in Kenosha. Like, there are none that I know of. Everybody plays punk, or they play rock, or they're a cover band.
Yep, I hear that.
And
I hear that.
Yes, there's probably more cover bands in this town than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, the cover band gig pays, right? I mean, it's
That's
like
true.
you're struggling as a
very true.
musician, you have a passion for it, you want to get paid, you try, at least try to get paid what you're worth. And a lot of times they go to covers because the bar will do that. I mean, what really allowed us to change the bar scene's mind down here to allow an original band to play all night and get paid like a cover band was we brought the people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It literally had to be like, look, if I don't bring X amount of people, you pay me nothing.
Right.
And if I pack the place out, you're going to pay me $600. And we take that risk, right? And just do everything we can to drive out traffic and bring people out. And that started to change people's minds. And then once which in comes the illusion, once you play it at certain venues, all of a sudden people put you on the next level, perception-wise, and then it makes it a lot easier to get gigs after that,
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that's how it is, but that's how it is.
But I very much appreciate and love the whole grassroots and organic self-fulfilling projection.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can literally talk for days about what to do and what not to do. I'm an open book. I'm a free resource. So if you ever want to dive into that, I'll give up, everything that I've learned to try and help other people use my experience to get 12 years ahead of the game of everything I've learned to apply that to their situation right now. So they don't have to go through that 12 years of headache to learn it to begin with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What has been, would you say, the best show? Like, who have you played with? And what is your goal? Who would you like to play with?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I about lost my shit when I found out the Dispatch came back and they got back together. Dispatch would be my personal number one. I know some other guys would probably have some other choices. And because, they're not even really a reggae type band, but they play the reggae festivals and things like that. But honestly, it's more of an audience thing for me. Like my goal right now is you have certain events that are regionally in the area, right, that always bring 5 to 15, 20,000 people, right? And it is quite a rush playing in front of several thousand people. Now we've accomplished that probably twice now, and you definitely want more. But there's like a Swanee Festival, which is just north of us. There's one big one, I'd like to get on. We did the Root Fire Festival last year, where we got to play with Stephen Marley and Michael Franti and Spearhead, and
That's cool.
a bunch of larger acts. And I had that on my goal sheet for 2019. 2019, I think we'll be able to be in a position to get in the Root Fire Fest. And we were lucky enough to be able to get called to the carpet for Root Fire 2017. So we hit that goal a little early. So I think for me, I've never really been a fan of leaving the family for 3 months at a time, right? At least that idea of that. I'm not saying that if I was offered that, I'd put it down, but I'd like to think that that's not for me. But again, there's so many shows and festivals out there where large amounts of people get together that I would love to hit. There's like the Cali Roots Festival out in California, Reggae Rise Up. They do one down here in St. Pete and in Colorado, and I think they do one in the Midwest too, and out in California as well. So there's a couple different groups that I would love to work with that put on those festivals. They also support other artists, and they support artists in a way to allow artists to maintain ownership, which is why I think they're gaining so much traction. The game's really changing right now in music. So for me, if I could make a living doing this and helping people forget about the bullshit for a little bit, enjoy their lives for, heaven forbid, half hour of their day in their existence. I think that I've made a positive impact in the world, and that's really what I'm really focused on, is just trying to help people, have a good time. Like you said, it's definitely helpful when you're at work, and it's always like you kind of just recharge your good vibes and kind of remind yourself that there is good. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I had a question and it's totally gone. No, it's not. I apologize. So Trees of Life, how do you come to have that band name and your hashtag, Here We Grow?
Sure. So when I first started, I was playing these songs by myself, and we were at a bar called Tanqueray downtown Orlando, open mic night. I played 3 of my originals that night. I played King of the Mountain, Little Dove, and I want to say Life is Short. And I had a gentleman come up to me and he said, "Look, dude, this shit's not cool. This is not cool. Nobody wants to hear positive music, and and it really, I let it hurt me for some reason. I don't know why. I usually don't care what people think of what we're doing, because if you don't have people hating on what you're trying to accomplish, you're probably not doing something right.
Right.
There's honest truth to that, right? So I'm watching Fairly Odd Parents, the cartoon. Are you familiar?
Yes.
On Nickelodeon.
Yes.
And I'm tripping on mushrooms. And you see this gentleman in front of Timmy's house with a table, and he's got a bunch of things on it, a lot of paraphernalia.
Right.
There's a bong, there's papers, there's sprays. Timmy's like, "What is all this stuff?" And he's like, "It's smooth, man. The man doesn't want you to have the smooth." So I looked up smooth in the Urban Dictionary, and about the 7th definition down, it says the cool. So I started calling myself Smooth Music. when just kind of middle finger to that one weird guy who didn't like positive music, that really upset me for, I don't know why I let him, but so my translation was, the cool music.
Mm-hmm.
When I put the band together, they didn't like it. They were like, "Oh, terrible name for a band." You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. So, we thought about it. We threw a couple names around, and I, already had the song "Tree of Life," which is on the album, the last song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what about the Trees of Life? And that's pretty much, it really came from the song "Tree of Life," and that was way before there was ever a movie called "Tree of Life." The song "Tree of Life" is, I think that was the 4th or 5th song I ever wrote for myself back in 2008, 2009. And so the Trees of Life, we looked it up. We checked the business registration down here in Florida to see if we could, open up a business called the Trees of Life. You got to make sure you get all that cleared so you can do your publishing and all that kind of good stuff. And the only other band that's called the Tree of Life is out in Germany, and their trademark and registration is for Germany only. So I just did a Florida only registration for that. So we got away with it, and so we kept that. So we're thinking about, we did a little demo, and we wanted to do an EP. So I wanted to do something that had something to do with a tree, like a sapling, at the beginnings of a so-called tree of life, right? Because we're at the beginning of our journey, you know what I mean? And me and Skylar, the drummer, we talk nearly every day. We're really good friends. And I always kept saying to him, here we go. Hey, just trying to hype each other up, end the conversations, and it just came upon him, and he goes, "Well, here we grow." And he said that, and I about lost my shit. And that is it. That's it. I love that, because, and I come from a marketing background, it's always good, when you have a product, you have a product name. If you can have a slogan, that really increases your chances of people remembering who you are. And then the implications of Here We Grow, right? Because, we're not selfish. We know that in order to get any success here in the area, we have to team up with other people and allow them to shine too. It's something that we need to grow together with, in order to make a scene, because I only know so many people. Our band members only know so many people. You can team up with another band, which are like what you call like a brother band. It's called the Intercoastal Style Game. So, us and the Intercoastal do a lot of shows together. We promote each other. We interchange our fan base. They're in the New Smyrna, Daytona area. We're in the, Deltona, DeLand, Lake Mary, Sanford area in Central Florida. So, we're at least 30 miles away from each other. So, we always try to promote ourselves. And I'll tell you what, when we decided to let the egos go, and there was plenty of other bands that we've also teamed up with that, just so happened to not work out because they couldn't handle shared success. Because a lot of musicians are, like to shine and they don't want anyone else to. You know what I mean?
That's so frustrating.
It's like, we have another motto down here in our Here We Grow circle with all of our, there's probably a good 3 or 4 bands of ours that we hang out with and a couple promoters and stuff. And our big tagline for that inner circle is, you cannot win the concert, so stop trying.
It's like defensive driving. You don't need to get to the front of the line.
You do not get a gold medal for the best, the best guy who's shredding on stage for the night. You know what I'm saying? So stop hating on other bands, appreciate their art, appreciate their effort. And for all of us down here, it's all about the audience's experience. I mean, think about it. I mean, we're all music lovers. I'm sure most people watching this or listening to this have at least 2 or 3 magical moments. I mean, truly magical moments at a concert, right? And typically, it has to do with the environment, the message, the music, and most always, there's more than one band playing at a show. Right. You know what I mean? And music lovers, I don't know anybody out there who says they're a music lover and only listens to one band.
Dude, oh my God. Speaking of this, not a joke, last night we got comments on our video because of that. There are purists in certain scenes that will attack you if you don't play music advertised. Some dude commented on our video last night that every time I watch this, there's never a ska band and no ska music. So I responded and said, that's because you must have missed the memo or not paid attention to the fact that we're an underground music show that promotes all music, all genres, because I do very much believe in that message, Here We Grow. It isn't about getting that gold medal. If we all want to be successful, we all have to help each other. And he was just, I don't know. He was like, it's deceiving and false promotion because it says ska in your name. And I was like, I'm so...
Yeah. and it's bad. And you'll see people like that go nowhere. They'll stay with their fan base of 20 to 30 people. And that'll be all she wrote. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if your aspirations are out there to go and get signed, I don't care what kind of music you're playing. The guys who are going to show you attention are the ones who think that there's something already happening. And in order to do that, you need to show them that something is already happening. So, for instance, if you do not team up with other bands and share audiences and things, once we started teaming up with other bands, well then, now all of a sudden, when we play out of town and we have like one local show within a 2-month period, there's 200-300 people there every time because we share each other's audiences. Before we did that, we didn't play in front of more than 50 or 60.
That's awesome.
It wasn't really until we just let our guard down and start teaming up with other people. And of course, there's plenty of little record labels out there that we've talked to, and the same thing happened with my band in Toledo. I mean, it wasn't until we teamed up with other bands, we started the Anacoustics family back then, And all of a sudden, probably the last dozen shows we played as a band, there's 300 to 500 people there. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better than that experience of having that energy of all those people just vibing. It's almost life changing in a sense, you know. It's something that, you know, we definitely strive for, right? Every show's not like that, you know, so you can't really expect it all the time, but when it does happen, you know, you just got to soak it in and appreciate it for you know, all it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to you and I'm like,
Real quick. I remembered the magazine. Fluid magazine is our most recent publication. I just wanted to say that, so I don't get my head chopped off.
Shout out to Fluid.
Fluid magazine.
So besides being on Facebook and having your new album come out tomorrow on all of the major platforms, where else can folks find you?
Well, we do have a website. It's www.thetrees with an S of _life. So instead of the .com, it's a .life. So thetreesof.life. You can find our you know, schedule. You can listen to music, watch all of our videos. You can buy merchandise, you know, things of that nature. So that's another place that you can find us. Let me think here. That's about it. I mean, we have a YouTube channel. We have our social media, our Instagram, and our Twitter that I've been neglecting.
Yeah. I'm not on Twitter. And one band that was on a couple weeks ago was like, that's the only thing I'm on. Why?
I'm telling you. The thing that I hate hearing so much is like, well, can you Snapchat me? Like, no, I don't have Snapchat.
That's become the thing. We made a QR code for the Jess the Skakid page because people like that medium.
And you've got to be present in most of them. You know what I mean? To kind of gather your audience, you know. But like when it's 2018 now. You know, there's things like radioairplay.com and all these different, you know, internet radio stations that would just love to play your music. Or some people that you pay to play your music. You know what I mean? You just kind of weigh out those situations. But it is absolutely attainable to get a large fan base just online. You know, I've met a couple of people that live down here that make a living on music and have never played a live show.
Wow.
They spend a lot of money on marketing, and it really blows me away. But that's just a reality now. So the music game is changing. The big giant record labels are scared.
So we're becoming so antisocial that we don't have to play in front of fans. We can sit at home and fucking release music. That's horrible.
Is that crazy?
I know. There's nothing more enjoyable than going to go watch somebody that you've enjoyed listening to. At least in my opinion.
Might as well.
Oh, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, again, I'm not going to hate the hustle, but...
You're just going to hate the player, not the game?
But, like, you know, so, I mean, like, you know, it's all a numbers game, right? I mean, I don't care what music you have, you'll always be able to find a fan. Promise you. It's not about being the best at what you do. It's about giving the best effort that you can into what you do. And people appreciate that effort. You just have to go and find them. You know, if they're not in your backyard, you might have to save up some money and do some social media marketing and find those people.
Right.
You know, I mean, we spend $10 to $20 at a time. You know, so it's not something that you need thousands of dollars to accomplish. You know, you can do a lot of cool things with $10 nowadays. It's kind of ridiculous.
So, besides your album, because we're talking about marketing, how about merchandise, James? Do you have shirts, buttons, bumper stickers? But you know, like, what do you have if people wanted more than just your music? That super fan needs to know.
The super fan needs to know what you have to say. I agree. right now, I have a much larger physical fan base than I do online when it comes to selling stuff, right? And there's all different kinds of reasons for that. I mean, but, you know, we've gone through, you know, a couple different orders. Koozies with our logo on it. Koozies are really cool because they're cheap. And you can, you know, sell them for cheap and still make good money on them. Or you can give them away. It's not a big deal. You know, one of my favorite things to do is when we have like koozies or even a demo CD, stickers. We haven't gotten any buttons or anything yet. But what we'll do is, like, when we're at a show, we will put a tip jar out, and I will invite people to come up and just take what you want for free. But if you would like to donate, feel free to donate. Put some money in the, you know, whatever you feel is necessary. You know what I mean? But again, if you have no money but you really, really like it, take it. You know? And you'll get people that you've never met that are watching you perform, and they appreciate the effort that you're putting forward at that moment, that they'll just feel compelled to give you a $20 bill for a koozie.
Wow.
Or your little demo CD that has 5 songs on it. You know, that happens more often than you would think, taking that approach. So it's like, you know, with merchandise, it's like, you can think of it a couple ways. You know, it's an advertising medium. It's also a way to make money. But I like to try and, you know, you also want people to have the stuff, right? Because, you know, they got a koozie and they're sitting at home at the fire pit and they got some friends over and all of a sudden they see your koozie. Well, you just might get 5 or 6 impressions just by giving somebody a koozie, right? I mean, that can happen. But, you know, as far as our money makers, we're t-shirt salesmen. That's really where we make the most money merchandise-wise, is t-shirts. Stickers I usually give away or give them as a thank you if somebody does buy something. And then the CD also. You know, the physical CD, even though things stink so bad, we're getting old, Jess. But CDs aren't cool anymore.
No.
And they're getting obsolete. And these guys get in between our money doing this online sales thing. You know, which you can always try to drive traffic to your own website. But, you know, we offer some of our songs on our website as well. And, you know, 100% of that goes to the band, right? When you spend $1 on iTunes, you know, we might see 40 cents of that dollar.
Go to the trees of life and fucking get the music off their website. There you go. I'm just gonna yell. I'm gonna yell at people.
You know, we got all different kinds. You know, we've got tank tops and razorbacks for the girls, and V-necks for the girls, and you know, standard T-shirts, and so you're really getting multiple different types of T-shirts, and then you know, the physical CD. Occasionally, you know, you'll make some dollars on that, and then trying to collect donations. I mean, it's kind of funny. You know, nowadays it's kind of like a crowdfunding culture.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We've even contemplated on making a Patreon account, and trying to go that route. I mean, I might actually fire that up here next month, I believe, after we get through this release and kind of calm down a little bit and recover, because I'm sure it's going to be a super fun night tomorrow. But I'm thinking about actually doing that, you know, and but the key with doing things like that is you have to be constantly putting out content, which I know you know how difficult that is.
I'm just gonna sit here and be ridiculous if I don't have content. Apparently, people like that.
But the Patreon account is another thing, kind of like a crowdfunding type deal.
Yep.
And you know, you can take even, you know, cryptocurrency if you really wanted to, right?
Bitcoin.
If you can extract any value out of it, it's going to be positive. So
right.
We just try to find as many of those opportunities as possible.
You have a question?
Yes. I mean, I have a question for you personally. I mean, this has been one of the probably the most informative interviews that we've ever had. But not to like, you're welcome. But you yourself, like, what was your influence as a kid, and when did you start playing music?
Good question. So I was a Beatles head.
And an interview. No, just kidding.
The first song I ever played on guitar was Blackbird, which is still to this day one of the most difficult to play. I don't understand how that works, but I sat there, and my father bought me a tab book to try and learn for the White Album for the Beatles, and I flipped it right to Blackbird. Those were my favorite songs, and I literally sat there for I think about a month and a half learning how to play that. It might have been a little bit easier because like finger picking style, and I didn't really know how to use a pick at the time. But that was really where it started. My father was in a band for years. He was a lead guitar player in a band called LYZ when he first started in his teenage years into his early 20s, and they were a big deal. He wrote, him and his lead singer, they wrote probably about 100 originals at least, recorded a bunch of stuff, and then he kind of played in little project bands after that, and I honestly didn't want to do it, like I kind of grew up like, I didn't want to be like my dad for some reason, loved him, but just didn't want to do it, and I was 15 years old, and I had a friend of mine who lived 2 blocks down the road, said that he knew I had music equipment in my basement, right? So he's trying to jam a little bit, and so they already had a guitar player and a drummer and a singer. They didn't have a bass player. Well, my dad played guitar, so if I pick up the bass, it's not really like that, right? And at the time, that's what I'm thinking, and so I started playing in the band as a bass player when I was 15, and we were called Pocket Full of Candy. And then the acronym was PFUC. So P,
very
FUC.
clever.
I like
we
it.
just had a little P after the C, and then as we were making personnel changes, we went from Pocket Full of Candy to People's Freedom Under Control to Purpose for Useless Cause. We just kept changing the name, but still keeping the same acronym. That was fun. And then my father started a live sound company, and so he was starting to run sound at local bars, and that was really fun to watch. I mean, he had no idea what he was doing when he started, and now he's doing very, very well for himself, and he's been doing it full time for probably 12, 14 years now. And his company's Image Sound and Lighting. So at an early age, I was 17 years old at the bars running sound for bands, and I wasn't in a band for a couple of years after that, and I was running sound for this band called Fairview. My absolute favorite local band in the world, man. And their songs were great, and the performance was good, and I show up to a little hole-in-the-wall bar in Toledo, and they showed up to play. I'm like, yes, I get to, I didn't know they were playing that night. And they're on stage, and they're like, yeah, well, this is our farewell show. We're done after this. Our rhythm guitar player is moving back to Wisconsin, and so this is our last show ever. And after the show was over, I went up to Tim, who was Casper the Fake from Kenosha, who was actually living in Toledo at the time, and I begged him to join the band. Like, dude, you guys can't stop. Like, this music's too good. And I completely bold-faced lied and said, I've been practicing guitar for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like let me play the ball thing. Let me play guitar. When all I played was the bass at that time, But I wanted to join. I just wanted to do it so bad. So I showed up to jam with them, and it took about 3 minutes for them to see right through me and how I wasn't a seasoned guitar player by any means whatsoever. And so I actually had the opportunity to record their music live. And I said, look, guys, give me one more chance. Just give me 2 weeks. I've got your recordings. I'm going to learn Clint's part, which Clint was in the band at the time. And then let's just give me one more shot. And I played that guitar probably 8 to 10 hours a day for 2 weeks straight. And luckily for me, most of their music was just power chords. A lot of it's just kind of a strange 2-finger chord where you're trying to meet some of the strings. It's just power chords up and down the neck. And and I nailed it. And I came back and knew the parts, and that's when we started Anakin back then, and that's when I was basically a backup singer for Pocket Full of Candy as well as for Annika. And this project right here, Trees of Life, is actually my first lead singing project ever. So it's been kind of weird for me, never being a frontman before, a true frontman. I was more of a support character throughout my journey in music, and then now I'm back in it, and I'm a front guy for some reason. So it's great. I'm having a blast.
Any more questions from you? Hey, guess what?
What?
We've reached the over the hour mark.
Have we?
We have. So,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap up, conclude, and then play your music.
That would be awesome.
All right.
It's been wonderful talking with you, man.
Yeah, I'm like, we're best friends now. Also, do you have Wisconsin girl shirts? Just saying. There's a difference between Florida and Wisconsin girls.
That Midwest hospitality, some people just do not understand not only what it is, but actually what it takes to deliver that. You know what I mean? So, when I found out you guys were in Wisconsin, I felt like we were near family right up the bat.
Yay!
It's definitely a lifestyle.
So this has been James from the Trees of Life. They are from Central Florida. They are releasing their album tomorrow. You can get it on every platform, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, etc. But I'm going to encourage you, since we are all about actually contributing to band success, go to thetreesof.life and get their shit from them directly so that they can have all of the royalties. I'm Jess the Ska Kid.
Give points.
This is James, and we're saying goodbye. Bye.
Thank you, guys.